Good evening, and welcome to this edition. This is episode 135 of the Houston Roundball Review presented folks talking sports. I am KG Kris Gardner, and with me again is my brother Willy Gibson from Ohio. How are you, Mr. Gibson?
I'm fantastic, Kris. How about you?
I'm doing great. We're going to talk about the University of Houston's hiring of one Eddie Nuñez as the new vice president of Intercollegiate Athletics, AD. But Mr. Gibson, I would like to pick your brain about some Ohio State Buckeyes football and some news that the Buckeyes made the last few days. Your thoughts on that, sir?
What news? We have
Quarterback.
Quarterback. He said the quiet part out loud. That was Will Howard. Will Howard was the starter. Well, Coach Ryan Day on Thursday named quarterback Will Howard the starter for the August 31st game against the Akron Zips. He said the quiet part out loud. I mean, everyone knew the day Will Howard stepped on campus that he was the starter. There was a reason they went to get him in the portal. They knew what they had, and I think I talked about it last week. Somebody asked me about Cam Ward, and why he couldn't come, or why he didn't come. Ohio State knew they had to make a change. They had to make an upgrade at the quarterback position, and they wanted to see what they had after the Cotton Bowl against Missouri. And for all that saw that game, it was not a lot. So they knew they had to go out and go shopping in the portal. And so Will Howard was the quarterback that they targeted. That was the quarterback that was willing to meet the conditions. Quarterbacks wanted to enter the portal. They wanted to make a decision quick, find a new school, get acclimated. But Ohio State didn't want to make a decision until after the Cotton Bowl. So Will Howard was amenable to that schedule, and he was the quarterback that they selected. And for all intent and purposes, he was the starter the day he stepped on campus. But Ryan Day ended the speculation on Thursday and announced him as the starter.
We'll get to the other topics because that's what I know about. But apparently the Buckeyes have more to share, more news that happened. But I want you to answer this, sir, from CA37. Besides that team up north, what game do you have circled on the schedule?
October 12th at Oregon. That's it. And actually, I don't have the team up north circled. I mean, they have bigger fish to fry right now in Ann Arbor. So that's kind of okay. But no, October 12th at Oregon. That's a game that I have circled because it's on the road. It's at night. First Big Ten meeting for the Ducks and the Buckeyes. Ohio State beat Oregon in the national championship game in 2014. The first CFP college football national championship played. Ohio State beat Oregon. This year is the first iteration of the 12-team college football playoff. And Ohio State seems to have a habit of winning the first. I'll just leave that there. But no, that's the game I have circled, October 12th at Oregon.
Justin chimes in. What's the topic right now? It was what game did Willy Gibson have circled on the his Ohio State Buckeyes football schedule? But Justin, feel free to chime in. We're going to talk about the UH hire. We may talk about the Rockets. The NBA schedule came out. What teams are in the Cavs group?
Washington, Atlanta. Is it Washington, Atlanta? No, it's Group C. East Group C. Give me a second. I know Washington's in there. I believe.
I know the Rockets group. There's Group A right there, and that's their schedule for group play. You got Clippers, Portland, Minnesota, and Sacramento. So that's Group A of the Rockets, and I have the Rockets schedule as well. I glanced at the schedule, Rocket schedule, But off the top of my head, I don't remember when the Rockets played the Cavs. I know the Rockets played the Pistons pretty early in the season for both games because my colleague, one of my mentees, Coty Davis. Coty Davis is now the Pistons beat writer for the Detroit News.
Nice.
So we have been looking at the schedules and trying to figure stuff out and when I may go up there to watch a Pistons game and visit him and things like that. Yep, I heard this. Good for Jalen Green to take the initiative and have a team workout in California, I believe. Kelly Eco was the first place I saw that, colleague Kelly Eco from the Athletic. But good for Jalen Green, good to him to show some leadership. It's part of his growth as a leader, a team leader. So that's good. That's a positive. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not going to read too much into other things like I see players lighting up other players in summer workouts or summer games and stuff like that. I don't care. I don't care about James Harden looking good in August. Well,
Right.
the season in August? I didn't know the season was in August. Who cares?
No, it's not.
So let's see James, Mr. Harden, in his up there years do start shining in May. Okay, let's see him do that. Yeah.
Yeah, the Cavs, their group is Chicago, Boston, Atlanta, Washington.
Chicago, Boston, Atlanta, Washington. Okay, so yeah, so everybody gets a first place team, a second place team, etc. So that's how. Okay. All right. Yes, Coty officially, I think, heads to Detroit Monday, August 19th. That's when he moves up there. So for a week, maybe 2 weeks, he's been working remote here in town for the Detroit News, but he moves up to the D on August 19th. So yes, he will be the beat writer, the Pistons beat writer at the Detroit News. And I note, I'm not sure, I asked him to look into this because there was a point before Laura moved to Atlanta to cover the Hawks 2 seasons ago, maybe, that each Pistons beat writer in Detroit, so the Free Press, the Athletic, the News, and M Live, was all African American. And I don't care if it's 21st century or whatever. That's still a rare accomplishment. So all of them, all beat writers for the Pistons were African American. And I asked Coty to look into that because I'm not sure who's covering. I don't know the beat writer at M Live for the Pistons anymore, but I know James Edwards, he's still with the Athletic, and Omar is still with the Free, and now Cody's with the Detroit News. So that's 3 of the 4 I know for sure. So
this is interesting because you asked me, you said you don't know when the Cavs and the Rockets play. Cavs have a couple of these interesting quirks in the schedule, if you will. They play at the Rockets Wednesday, January 22nd. And then the Rockets playing Cleveland Saturday, January 25th.
Okay, so yeah, let me see if I can pull that one up real. Where is it? Here we go. October, November, December, January. Yeah, right there, right in my face. Yeah.
Yeah, which is crazy to me. That's that whole, because they have another one like that with OKC. They play OKC at home in Cleveland January 8th, and they play at OKC January 16th. So those usually West Coast, East Coast, they're home. They're not as close, but they have 2 in the same month.
I gotta see. I got to make an adjustment on the slides for the show purposes, but I want the Rockets have a quirk like that even stranger. They have games with the Blazers back-to-back nights, Friday, Saturday. The Friday game is an NBA Cup game, but the Saturday game is a regular home game. So just all right. Just part of that. It's different.
Yeah.
But Justin, thank you for this. I'll pass on your kind words to Coty. He'll appreciate it. But yes, if you missed it, Coty Davis, who covered the Texans, also covered the Rockets, is the new beat writer for the Detroit Pistons beat writer for the Detroit News, and he's heading up to Detroit, moving up there on tomorrow, August 19th. He told me like 2 months ago that he was interviewing for a job. He wouldn't go into, he just asked me to pray for him that he'd get it, but he wouldn't go into specifics. All he would say is, if he got it, that I would like it. So I was like, well, I had an idea of what he was referring to. And then when he told me, he gave me the good news, I was like, all right, so I have another reason to go up to Detroit and spend a game or two. Hopefully most likely on a weekend or like a Friday or Saturday, meet him up there and see that. Not necessarily for the Rockets, just go up there to see the Pistons and hang out with Coty. So yeah.
To that point, Chris, you mentioned the whole cup. Cavs have something similar as well. They play the Hawks Thanksgiving Eve in Cleveland, Wednesday. And then they have an NBA Cup game on a Black Friday in Atlanta.
Yeah. It's some strange stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah. At 2:30 p.m. on Black Friday.
Yeah, that's another strange. Yeah, Rockets had something like that too. They had a game scheduled for like at 6 and then a game at 2 the following day. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So like either Minnesota or Golden State, something, whatever. It's just strange. But
yeah,
we'll get into all that stuff. Rocket fans on a Let's Talk Houston Rockets show later on this week. So just subscribe to the channel and click on that bell so you can receive the notifications of when that show goes live on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel. Corey, welcome. You missed it, but I'll ask you, Corey. Mr. Gibson mentioned that the game he has scheduled on his Buckeyes calendar is the game at Oregon. What say you, Corey? What game are you looking forward to outside of that game against the team up north as a Buckeye fan? Just curious about that. And you're watching the Folks Talking Sports, episode 135. We talk sports here. It's not just H-Town related teams or anything of that sort. So it's sports, including the WNBA. Did you have a chance to catch any of the Fever game today against Seattle?
I did not. I'm actually watching the Aces and the Sparks right now, but I did not see the Fever game.
What network is that on, that game?
NBA TV.
Okay. Because it wasn't mentioned in the ticker during the Fever Storm game when it was going across. I saw that was coming up at 5 o'clock Central Time, but I was like, okay, well, what network is it going to be on? So I didn't see it. Man, oh, man. Indiana. It's rare, Willy Gibson, Corey, Justin, to make 8 of your 9 3-pointers in the fourth quarter. That's what Indiana did. They made 8 of 9 threes in the fourth quarter.
Wow.
So it was like a 1-point lead going into the fourth. They won the fourth quarter by like 17 points. Everybody's making threes in that game and in the fourth quarter. But okay, Corey says, Willie, to be different from you, he'll say the road game at Penn State.
Yeah. Someone else asked me about that game yesterday. I'm not concerned with James Franklin. I'm not. I'm just not. The only time he beat Ohio State is when his job was on the line. Outside of that, he doesn't beat Ohio State. No, Corey, you're good. I'm fine with that. That's great. They have 12 games on the regular season schedule, so everybody's game is gonna be different. I don't mind, but yeah, it's all good.
How about this one?
Playing time where?
Oh yeah, Justin. That's a good, better question.
I mean, I can answer it, but I'm just
with the G League or with the big boys.
Yeah. Let's just stir the pot a little bit. Playing time where? He'll get playing time, sure, but yeah. You can kind of tell my answer by that, but yeah.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to have media had a chance to talk to the new head coach?
No, he's been in Paris. He was the assistant coach with France. With the France. I mean, they had his opening presser literally like a day that he came to Cleveland and flew back to Paris to assist with that team. But yeah, so not a lot.
All right, Coug fans, we can talk about it. If you missed it earlier today on the Less Rage Cougs live stream show, we talked about Houston's hiring of Eddie Nuñez as the new AD, the director of athletics, or as the universities say now, with the long title of vice president of intercollegiate athletics. When was that first coined? When did that come about? When did it stop being director of athletics or AD? Where was I when that happened?
Oh, I have you beat. Give me a second. I'll tell you the Ross B. York's title here at Ohio State. But go ahead. Give me a second. I'll find it.
But yeah, so if you missed it, you can go back and watch that, of course, here on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel. Which AD? We'll talk about that. I have no problem with Eddie Nuñez as the hire. Some folks wanted Ryan Alpert, the deputy AD from Tennessee, who was part of fundraising $500 million at Tennessee, which is more than the $400 million that Eddie Nuñez was responsible for at LSU. But I mean, when you get up that big, Will, 400 million, 500 million, either numbers Houston needs. So I mean, whatever, it's 400 million for it, whatever.
Yep.
Both are capable. The bigger question is, will Eddie Nuñez be allowed to do his job? Will the Board of Regents, will the president, will the higher ups stay out of his way and let him do his job? And I hope that includes moving on from certain coaches in athletics who have underachieved. They know who they are. And it's they, as in more than one.
On the women's side or the men's? I'm sorry. I had to.
Oh, he did that, Corey. He did that. But I'm going to ask him about that on this Wednesday at his press conference. I'm going to ask him basically a general question, but you'll know where I'm going with the question when I ask it. Because I'll say this to you, Brother Gibson and Corey and Justin. I said this on Less Rage Cougs earlier today. As long as he does not give contract extensions to anyone, any coach, between now and the end of the season, I'm okay. But if he announces, like December 31st, Ronald Huey's get a new contract extension, I will light his ass up at every chance I get, because it is not justified. It won't be justified based on what? Coach Huey winning some games in non-conference? The non-conference schedule hasn't been finalized just yet. They're waiting on one more contract. Non-conference, it won't be too difficult. But, Willie, for the folks who don't know, they may look at the non-conference record and say, ooh, Coach Huey turned things around. Look at them. They went, 7-2 or whatever, 6-3. Look at them. They're ready for the Big 12. No, they're not. No, they're not even close.
Yeah.
No. And I'll say this. I'm going to say this on the air to give you an idea, family. Because in the words of Bernie Mac, may he rest in peace, we're all family here. We're all grown. We're all family. Family. We're family. I spoke with a high school coach yesterday. Coach told me, Kris, there is no way I'm sending any of my kids to Houston right now for basketball, women's basketball, because that place is a mess. That place, quote, is a dumpster fire. And this is a coach of talented Division I prospects in this state. Coach said, no way in hell would I tell any parents of my kids to send. No. They have to make changes there at Houston before I send any of my kids. I said, say less. That's all you got to say. Just say less. All right, let's see. Going back to Justin. Some say Dana Brown, GM of the Astros, isn't allowed to fully do his job. That's a different story, but it's important. CA says Nuñez was solid, just still didn't feel flashy for me because he has been hearing too much about Mexico because the football program stunk. Last 4 years, football at Mexico, they were 11-32. That was his hire. But fortunately, he inherits a Houston job where the biggest positions hires for an AD already been made. Kelvin Sampson's not going anywhere. And if he does, it's going to go to Kelvin Sampson, his son. And Willie Fritz is already here, his first year. So Nuñez has to worry about fundraising, and then the other coaches who have underachieved and get rid of them and clean up house. The whole department needs to be cleaned just thoroughly with cleanser and bleach and disinfectant and just on and on and on. Go ahead. Like you're pondering something, Willie.
Well, no. I was just listening. I lost that thought, but I have Ross Bjork's title. We never talk about the full titles. This will get you. Ross Bjork is the Ohio State University Senior Vice President and Wolf Foundation Eugene Smith Endowed Athletics Director.
Say it again because you broke up there. Say it again.
Oh.
Yeah, say it again.
Oh. Ohio State University Senior Vice President and Wolf Foundation Eugene Smith Endowed Athletics Director.
Wow. Okay. So it's an endowed position now.
Yeah, the Wolf family wrote the check. They write many checks here in Columbus. So, yeah. And then Eugene Smith is most recent former athletics director, Gene Smith, who his name is now attached to it as well.
That's interesting. I don't believe any Houston coach has an endowed position. I know Rice has it in women's basketball. Coach Edmonds' title is an endowed position named after someone. Mm-hmm. I think the football coach Bloomgren, same. HCU has a couple of, I think the men's basketball is, and maybe football. But I don't think anyone at Houston yet who the head coach has an endowment position. And as long as that position does not bring back Ronald Huey, I don't, because, oh man, if there's someone out there that says, I'm going to, you will be on my list. Because there's just no justification to bring him back. None at all. None. All right, Justin says, this is a good job for AD, basketball and football. Main things have been handled. Yep. That's in the nutshell. And he just got to raise money. And Mr. Gibson, and I'm curious, I'm going to ask you from an outside perspective, but Justin, C837, you guys as well, anybody watching here on YouTube and Facebook. But Brother Gibson, you first, from your perspective, your outside perspective, based on what you've heard from me, what you've seen, heard from AD, Eddie Nunez, etc. You are Eddie Nuñez right now. Bam. Okay. What is your pitch to businesses, corporations in the city of Houston and around the greater Houston area to get them to invest in Houston athletics?
I would sell them on being a part of the rebirth. Clearly what's happened in the past has not been successful, or I wouldn't be here. So why not give them the opportunity to get in on the ground floor, if you will? Be a part of the rebirth of Houston athletics. Mm-hmm. That would be my sales pitch.
That works for me. I like that. Justin, CA chime in. What do y'all, Corey, you as well? What do y'all think would be if for this conversation, each of you is the new Houston AD, Eddie Nuñez? What would be your pitch to corporations in and around the greater Houston area to get them to invest, to convince them to invest in Houston athletics? Because what is tried in the past, recent past, didn't work. Got to try different things. He has to, in my opinion, stop relying on, not say cutting it off, but stop relying on, or stop only talking to the mega wealthy people. Okay? There are wealthy people in Houston. There are levels to this. Will, as a famous person once said, there are levels to this. Mm-hmm. It's good if you got a contact, if you got a billionaire contact, not named Tillman Fertitta, and they want to invest in Houston, great. But that does not mean you should stop talking to the multimillionaire who wants to invest in Houston. The multimillionaire who is a UH alum, who might say to Mr. Nuñez, I'm glad you called. I thought they lost my number. I haven't heard from anybody in years. So what can I do to help my alma mater out? That has to be done because the dollars add up. You just can't wait for the rainmaker to come falling from the sky with $500 million or, whatever. Justin says, first thing is Houston is one of the biggest cities in America, and most of the talent comes from Houston, Texas, as far as athletes. Houston is also a transplant city. That could be good. That could be bad. But also tap into the mentality of men's basketball, the success of men's basketball, and I think the future success of football, because Coach Fritz has said many times that he wants his football players to play and compete just as hard as Coach Kelvin Sampson's men's basketball players do, but tap into that blue-collar mindset as well. I think it was Andy said earlier today on Let's Rage Cougs, or maybe Ryan Monso, the guest on the show. The companies, this happens. There are owners of businesses who were told no because they did not have enough zeros, or were told no because for whatever reason, but they still want to be part of Houston Athletics. They were told no by the Rockets, for example, and said, well, you got enough, you got money, but it's not enough money. Go to those folks because they was, hey, I still want to be part of, I love sports. I love my alma mater. I love H-Town. Let's work together and make this happen. How about that?
I'm just trying to, who told people they didn't have enough zeros? Houston Athletics or the Rockets?
No, Houston Athletics. Rockets have the end with the big time corporations.
Right.
The Cougars don't have that level, but there are folks at and around Houston who they only go to the top dollar folks. They don't even wait. They don't even, in their minds, if it's not 7 zeros or whatever it is, they don't want to waste their time. They feel like they're wasting their time talking to those folks. That's why we're in the mess we're in right now.
I'm about to say what I was about to say, aren't they operating in the deficit right now?
Yes. That's why I harp on it. What they've tried now in the past hasn't worked.
Wow.
Because they have an over-reliance on just a certain group of money folks.
Well, I will say this.
Yes.
It's not that part is not exclusive to Houston. I'll take you a little bit behind the curtain after talking to some FOPs here in Columbus, friends of the program.
Yes.
Ohio State, as of July 1, has a new athletic director. And they are of the mindset they need to tap some alternate resources as well. They're tired of being the only benefactor to the program, if you will.
Sure.
So it's not exclusive to Houston, but I've never heard of a program saying you don't make enough money, so we don't want what you want to give us. That's crazy to me.
Now, of course, no one will say that on the record.
Of course.
But I'm just saying that I've heard that mentality in the past.
Right.
And I just shake my head and I'm like, well, don't you know some money's better than no money? I mean, what are we doing here? But so hopefully things will turn around for the better. And it's ironic you said Ohio State in a clip I posted on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel from today's show, Let's Rage Cougs. At the end of it, I referenced, because of this need of new revenue streams for Division I athletics, even Ohio State, the top of the mountain, is searching for new revenue streams. Yep. So it starts from Ohio State on down. So if Ohio State is looking for new revenue streams, Houston damn sure needs to be looking for new revenue streams. I mean, Come on.
Yeah, Ross Bjork came in. Everything's on the table. Naming rights for every arena Ohio State has is on the table.
Yes. It has to be. And, and there will be, and there are some traditionalists.
Oh, they're hot.
Yeah, they're hot. But in this new era of college / semi-pro sports, where's money going to come from?
Yep.
Without tapping new revenue streams. That's the reality of the situation. And back to it, Mr. Gibson. It's August 18th. We haven't done a show in a couple of weeks. Has your answer changed regarding the Big Ten and Florida State and Clemson?
No. If anything, it's become more pronounced and the stronger by the second. So yeah, no, hasn't changed.
Justin, Mattress Mac, Houston does tap Mattress Mac for money, mainly on the men's basketball side. You see him at a handful of men's hoops. I think he does a few promotional spots and stuff for men's hoops. He doesn't do, or he hasn't done a lot for football recently. And honestly, could you blame him? Because football hasn't had a lot of national success, unless, of course, you count in that Birmingham Bowl victory or the Independence Bowl victory with the previous person in charge touted as a major accomplishment. Please. And that's why you are now a consultant up there in Fort Worth. But anyhow, I digress. But yes, there are other people besides Mac who have money and who need to spend it on football. But in reality, President Khator mentioned this to Paper City Magazine's Chris Baldwin article that I posted on Facebook and Twitter and Threads, that Coach Khator understands that with Eddie Nuñez in charge now, she would like Nuñez to provide more resources to Kelvin Sampson and his staff. You know why? Mainly
because they win.
They win, but also because most of the money they've generated, they've done themselves.
Yeah.
So Coach Sampson, Lawrence Sampson, they've done that themselves. That should not really, although in these changing times, coaches, that is part of their job, NIL, fundraising, that is part of their job, but they'd rather not do that, Will.
Oh,
they'd rather focus on their sport. They'd rather focus on their players. So if there's an NIL general manager title or something like that, or if you got somebody specifically in charge of fundraising for the NIL, that's what needs to happen. So let's see. Oh, look at that. Gerald Green. Oh, that's might have been why he popped up on my phone for I saw him doing an IG live. So maybe that's what after he won the Big Three. So all right, good for him. Good for H-Town's own Gerald Green. And there will be a Houston franchise for the Big Three, I think, next summer. I think it starts. The H-Town team comes here next summer, starts next year. Hopefully they do a better job of connecting with the media, unlike the first time they were here. But I won't get into that because that's another story. But they did piss me off. But all right. Thrillo, how are you doing? Thrillo, I'm leaning on you because I haven't heard much about it. But Mr. Gibson, Texas Southern, Thrillo's alma mater, is having a fan fest. Fan fest is coming Saturday, August 24th. I have not heard many details about it. I just know it starts at 4 Central Time. I don't know regarding food, DJs, face painting. I don't know what's going on. So Thrillo, if you have some insight to share with us, please let me know, because I'm all about teams in H-Town. So let me share that info. What's going to happen this Saturday at Texas Southern's Fan Fest, so I can share that with the audience. But because let me see if anything's changed, Will. But do the Buckeyes do Fan Fest, Will? Things like that?
They had a couple open practices. First 4 practices of camp were open to the public at $50 per, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
But you could attend. I think the first one was the first day they had a kickoff luncheon with Coach Day, and then practice after, and then the 3 subsequent practices after that. So,
yeah, I'm at TSU's website, and I don't see specifics about the Fan Fest. Gee, Will, right now I'm on the website. I don't see anything about the Fan Fest. Not a banner or anything. Wow. That's not good. Well, see, it's not me, Will.
yeah.
Drillo says it right there. The info coming out of TSU has been minimal. You know how I found out about it? On Instagram.
Wow.
From, I think, TSU's main account, but then the women's basketball team posted an IG about it Thursday or Friday, inviting fans. We want to see you there this Saturday at our Fan Fest, that kind of thing.
Oh, so the Fan Fest is for all sports?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's well, I think so. I really don't know, Will. I think so. Yeah. I mean, let's see. Last year it was all sports teams and band recognition, DJ friends and family type deal. Yeah, it was nice for a first one. So, and I'm seeing, I don't know what's going on. Maybe a train's going by or something, but my Wi-Fi is kind of spotty this evening. I don't know what's going on. Everything's connected, but so I apologize for that. But and see, Justin knows, Thrillo, this is true. TSU has never been good at promoting things.
Wow. I do in the building and don't promote it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. there you go.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's not just a University of Houston thing, Will. The schools in H-Town, we struggle. That means Houston, TSU, Rice, HCU struggle at promoting.
Is that what Dr. McClellan is?
No, he's the commissioner of the SWAC.
Oh, he's the commissioner. Okay.
Yeah, he was there. He was the AD.
He was there. Okay, that's why I was like, wait a minute. Why am I? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, Thrillo says that's true. So, and I'm not surprised about that. But yeah, I mean, so because a lot of the stuff that, as far as promotions go, the teams do. The individual teams do at TSU. They do that. It's just
they're okay with it.
Speaking from preaching. I don't understand why we struggle with promoting. Houston is a big city. They have to hire. There you go. They have to hire the right people. There you go, right there. That's it. Oh, Mr. Moore chimes in from Facebook.
Hey, D, my man. Salute.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And see, Thrillo is probably not wrong with this, but it's the wrong mindset. He believes the schools just try not to compete with all the things to do in Houston.
They try not to compete?
Yeah.
Why?
That's the wrong mindset.
Yeah.
And then, on the other hand, they'll complain about lack of attendance.
Who knew?
Exactly. You didn't do anything to tell them about what's going on. I don't know why nobody came to our game. Really? You don't know? Really?
Wow.
So, yeah, I don't know. But I was one of, and I'm not, it's just a fact. I'm not saying it to be proud, be boastful. But on the lunch break, the last few shows, I was one of the few outlets in town to mention the Houston Cougars Fan Fest, the Rice Owls Fan Fest, and TSU's Fan Fest. I mean, but it comes down to if the school doesn't mention it, that's your fault. That's not my fault. That's your fault. So hopefully this week, by Thursday, for the next edition of my appearance of the Takeover, the Houston Roundball review takeover of the lunch break, I'll have some more info and details to share about Texas Southern's upcoming Fan Fest this Saturday, August 24th, inside H&P Arena. Hopefully. Mr. Tran, how are you doing from the West Coast? Justin says it took Kelvin Sampson to give UH a kick in the butt to get things going. That's not wrong. That's not wrong. And as Willie has said before, it should not be the coach's job to do all that. It should not, But yeah. Any other Buckeyes news you want to share, sir? As we wrap it up. Oh, and Cleveland Browns news. What's going on with the Browns?
They lost yesterday in the preseason. They have Deshaun Watson will play on this coming Saturday, a week from yesterday. So in 6 days he'll have his preseason debut. By design, he'll play the third preseason game. So he's getting ready for that. They had 2 days of joint practices with the Vikings this past week, and they played them yesterday in the preseason game. I didn't win preseason. They just need to find depth on the offensive line. That's where they are right now. Their tackles, they lost 3 tackles in the game yesterday.
Wow.
They were thin going into the game yesterday, so now they're thinner. No, Watson's not stealing money. He's not stealing money. And I say that because I'm looking at that Justin.
Here we go. Yeah, Justin. And now
see. Yeah, and I get it. I get it.
Both of them.
Yeah. Deshaun's a good dude. I mean, you guys know that there in Houston. I mean, AD, you can definitely, get with me on that as well. But I think number one, I hate when the lead is always about somebody's money. I think we need to stay out people's pockets. That's a problem for me because I've never heard of a gun being pulled in any contract negotiation. You ask for it, either they say yes or no. And I think that anybody else in that situation, had they been offered $230 million guaranteed, would sign it. So why are we criticizing?
Will, I wouldn't have. No, I'd have felt wrong. I'd have felt, no, Will. Oh, no, what? Yeah. No, that's too much money. I don't want that. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so, that's the problem I have with that. And he got hurt last year. I mean, people fail to realize the last game he played, he went 14 for 14 in the second half with a broken shoulder. I think people miss that. They don't want to acknowledge the fact. They talk about all the other things, but he played the second half. He broke his shoulder in the second quarter. He went 14 for 14 in the second half and tried to play through it after the MRI showed that he had a broken shoulder, but they refused to let him.
What?
So,
Tran, let me say this, Mr. Tran. We talked about today's Indiana Fever win over the Seattle Storm and how the Fever lit up the Storm in the fourth quarter from 3 going. Started out 8 for 9 in the fourth and then finished 8 for 10. And I want to say, if I heard right, because I came back from spending time with my best friend, so I missed the start of the game. So I missed Caitlin Clark's technical foul, but apparently that motivated her and her teammates to lit a fire under them. But they started out the game like missing their first 6 threes and then finished like 15 for 20, something like that, the rest of their threes. I'm like, man. So, but Willie, their defense, Seattle's defense,
was
awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say one last thing about, well, not probably one last thing, but another thing about Deshaun Watson that I know you in Houston may not know. There was a team in, I'm going to answer that in a second, Justin. There was a high school team in Cleveland. The first Cleveland inner city high school to win a state championship this past season in football.
Mm-hmm.
They won a Ohio State football championship. And Deshaun Watson kind of mentored that team, took them under his wing, if you will, mentored them unbeknownst to anyone. No one knew. He met with the team, would show up to their practices, do things like that, and had such an impact on that team that they gave him a state championship ring. When they got their rings for winning the state championship, they presented Deshaun Watson with one. So that kind of gives you an idea of the type of guy that he is in the community. Justin, let me go back. He mentioned Flacco. There's no way Joe Flacco could come back to Cleveland after last year because
you want me to scroll up, see it? Can you see it?
Yeah, they're going up. I'm trying to get okay, I see it. Yeah, there's no way Joe Flacco could come back to Cleveland after last year because of the success he had. Deshaun, if you think Deshaun's getting second guessed now, just think if Joe Flacco came back. Yeah. Joe Flacco, that's why they had to go back out and get Jameis Winston. A comparable backup, a competent backup, but that's not Joe Flacco. Because the minute Deshaun Watson throws a pick, the minute Deshaun Watson goes 3-and-out against the Cowboys on September 8th, people are calling for Joe Flacco, and that's not going to happen. That's bad for business. That's bad for business. So, I mean, Joe Flacco was great in the role, but I mean, you saw him in Houston the last game that he played. You tell me.
Yep. But Jamon, I think, kind of agrees with you. Your earlier point.
Yeah. It's like I mean, Kris, AD, you guys know it. I mean, we're in locker rooms all the time, and that's the number one cardinal sin in a locker room, talking about somebody else's money.
Oh yeah, don't you do
it.
No.
But it's mad. It's crazy to me that everybody else does, and it's just like I tend to follow that rule. It's like, yeah, we talk about numbers and we report contracts and things like that, but I mean, again, why is that a problem? That he got a 200, and now his $230 million guaranteed is like 9th on the list right now.
Yeah.
But nobody talks about that. They always want to throw up Deshaun's getting 230. He's getting fully guaranteed. Well, that's like 9th on the list right now.
But so it's amazing how the money being publicized has changed, because growing up, you didn't hear, and this is where the agents come in, because they do all this because they want to
get the next one,
pat themselves on the back and stuff.
Yep.
But we didn't hear how much players getting paid.
No.
It wasn't publicized about all this. You know, it wasn't so and so. I mean, I go back to like 81
mm-hmm.
when Nolan Ryan became the first $1 million baseball player.
Yeah.
But after that, it still wasn't a regular occurrence to hear how much players are getting paid in any sport. Football, baseball, basketball, it didn't matter. But at some point, 25 years ago, maybe something like that, you heard all the time, so-and-so's making X. Okay. And I'll be honest, before I became credentialed media and had the fan mindset, I was like that. Look how much money he's getting paid. Look how much money he's getting. He's getting paid too much money to throw that pick or fumble the ball or do that and the other. And then someone made the same point you said. Might have been Max Edison, AD. Somebody, one of my mentors said, Kris, did they make him sign a contract?
Thank you.
And I'm like, that's a good point. Kris, are you telling me that if you were offered $40 million, you'd say no? You know, that's a good point. So ever since then, I'm like, hey, get yours.
Yes.
You know, that's what I'm all about. Get yours, because this is so true. come, and you said it, but a locker room
Exactly.
with the quickness, you would not have a credential.
Nope.
Or if you do, you will be shunned by every player on that team. Because they didn't. That's the dude who brought up money, man. He went, no, don't do it. Be the last time you do that. So, but yeah. All right, man. Speaking of business, I'm gonna go ahead and do this because it applies to Brother Gibson. Because if I get enough, that I can share the wealth with everybody in the Roundball Review Media Group. But QR codes, scan them right there. Cash App, Zelle, the Roundball Review tip jar, different ways. Zelle, some folks don't like Cash App, Brother Gibson. Some folks don't like PayPal. Some folks like Zelle. So I'm adding that to the mix. Different ways to do it. Take a picture of it, or you just see it going across the bottom of the screen. Different ways to do that and support the Roundball Review, because I am the Houston Roundball Review in the sense that I am a sole proprietor. But as a media group, it is me. It is Mr. Moore. And I'm going to say this. I think Mr. Moore won't mind me sharing this bit of information. I don't believe it's a secret. The Texans face the Cowboys. And see, I said Cowboys, Will. See?
Thank you.
I didn't call them that other thing. I refer to them sometimes.
Yeah.
Mr. Moore, AD Moore, Adolphus AD Moore, will be at that game.
Nice.
Covering that game for the Houston Roundball Review Media Group. And said Mr. Moore is also the same person who needs to let AD tell it, but representing H-Town Media at the NFL, the Pro Football Hall of Fame enshrinement. It was TV folks from Houston, the Chronicle, and AD Moore from the Houston Roundball Review Media Group. So AD Moore, he's on it. He's respected. He's getting that credential. And yes, that's football, but it's still part of, the Houston Roundball Review Media Group. I'm sure you knew this, Will, right? You knew this.
Hey, let me add something to that, Mr. Tran. Not only it was Steph Curry, LeBron James, and Willy Gibson. At that same hospital.
Really?
Please believe it. Akron General Medical Center. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, say that again then, brother.
Yes, sir. Not only LeBron and Steph, but Willy Gibson was also born at that hospital. Just a kid from Akron.
Excellent.
Yes, sir.
And I think on that note, that is a great way to end the show. So let me give you the full screen.
All right.
As soon as I find your info,
yep,
Brother Gibson, the world is yours.
Yes, sir. Thanks again, Kris, as always, for the opportunity. You can find me on social media on Twitter at WillGibson7, Facebook at Will Knows, IG and Threads, Will Knows Sports.
Excellent. I am KG Kris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review. Please start following FTS on IG and Threads, folks talking sports. Again, going to put it up there because, hey, this is business. We enjoy the conversation with the audience. Thank you. Shout out to everybody. Mr. Tran, Corey Miller, Justin, Big Thrillo, CA37, Adolphus A.D. Moore from the AdMax Corner chiming in. Thank you for everyone in the conversation. Spread the word about this FTS because it's going to happen. I have other folks lined up. I talked to KP, Kanitra Pulliam. She was on FTS episode 134. She'll be on throughout college football season and college basketball season. So me and Willie, me and KP, I have a few other colleagues lining up to be part of folks talking sports. And Brother Gibson, I need to talk to you off the phone, man. ADU as well. Okay. Found out some info about the BS3 network. We might need to expand, spread our wings.
All right, stop.
Okay. But yes, this show, folks talking sports, in addition to being available on YouTube and Facebook via the Houston Roundball Review, will be available on demand on Roku at the search Houston Roundball Review, and you will see it on the BS3 network. Get the BS3 network app via Roku, and you can pull up recent shows of the Houston Roundball Review Media Group. So that includes Folks Talking Sports, Let's Rage Cougs, the takeover of the lunch break on Thursdays, and when I resume those, the Let's Talk Houston Rockets. So all those shows are available on demand under the Houston Roundball Review section of BS3 Network on Roku. So wrapping it up. This was fun. Went longer. It never fails, man. It never fails. In my mind,
we just talked about it. Yep.
I'm thinking about going be a quick show.
Yep.
But the conversation gets flowing. We get going, and we're almost an hour. So thank you again from the bottom of my heart, everybody, for your taking time out to join us in the conversation.
Real quick, because when they Thrillo, I appreciate the follow. Oh man, just follow me on IG. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Excellent. Keep it coming, folks. Spread the word about Willy Gibson, Will Know Sports, me, KG, Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review, because since 1994, the Houston Roundball Review, local name, global perspective. Everyone, take care. Peace.